99.7 FM.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Before I knew my name, before
And a very good morning to every one of you tuned in and listening to us here on Joy 99.7 FM. My name is Edem Knight-Tay, and this is Home Affairs. Some way, somehow, we have few hitches, so we're unable to come to you live on television. And some way, somehow, my video is also acting up, but I see my guests on video, and the show is being streamed live on Joy 99.7 FM. So if you still want to see a few things, you might want to go there, but you can actually do the listening right here on Joy 99.7 FM. Let me say a very big thank you to my guest for joining us again today, Juliana Amaklofia. Juliana's been on the show for the past 3 weeks. Same with Dr. Patty Auntie, Peter Patty Auntie Doc. I also want to say a very big thank you to you. We have been perusing the reports that GEM put out. GEM is Girls Excellence Movement, founded and led by this young, beautiful, strong, visionary young woman, Juliana Amaklofia. I admire her so much and her passion just to be able to give back to young girls, to see them grow, to see them strong, and to see them develop confidence in themselves so that they are able to live, they're able to, and be able to live and, to lead as well. And Juliana, God bless you so much for the work you're doing. You're a strong woman and I admire you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Thank you so much for
Great.
that.
I think I left out one of the L, right? Live,
Live, learn,
learn,
and lead.
and lead. Great. Live, learn, and lead. That's very true. And the report was launched a couple of weeks ago. And I promised her that, look, I was very passionate about the findings of that report. And I told her that we were going to spend time to look at it just by way of adding to the change that we all seek. And that's why we have been doing it. We started by looking at some of the challenges that our girls go through. We started it the week before, we continued last week. And this week, actually, we said we were going to look at how are we raising our boys. But there's one person that I really wanted to be part of this conversation, and she's unable to join us today. And that's Ethel Ajololo Mafo. She calls herself the boys doctor. As to, I really want her to be part of the conversation because she's been passionate about how boys, should be raised, but she's unable to join us today. So I promised her that, look, Ethel, I really want you to be part of this conversation. So we will push it to next week and do what we were planning to do next week, rather today, which is the guidance and counseling aspect of that report. One of the recommendations that came out very strongly was that there must be very functional guidance and counseling units in our schools. Again, one of the heartbreaking things that came out of the reports was that the people who man some of these guidance and counseling units in our secondary schools are the same perpetrators of some of these sexual abuse and harassment on our girls. And so if you're the same person abusing the girl and you are the same person manning the guidance and counseling unit, then to what end are we doing anything? And again, I saw the passion and the heart with which Dr. Patty Auntie, took us through the report and how passionate he was about the guidance and counseling units in our schools. And so today he is here as well. Doc, thank you very much.
Thank you and good morning to you.
Good morning.
I'm fine. How are you too, please?
I am well, thank you. I know that your time is, very precious like that, but I just get the sense that this is also really very critical and very precious to you. So you keep making the time for us. God bless you so much.
God bless you too.
And hey, Renee, how are you? Irene Afedo, how are you? Can Irene hear me? Irene is a teacher in one of the secondary schools here in in GH, very passionate about the job. And there was a time we had conversations with her about this guidance and counseling unit, and she gave us a lot of insights. So I thought that, look, Irene, Daniela, and I called her and said, look, you should be part of this conversation so we can have a holistic conversation. So once again, I want to say a very big thank you to all of you for joining us, and for all of you at home doing the listening. Thank you for making Home Affairs what it is. I know I have been very passionate and going on and on and on and on. So we haven't been able to, share any words of motivation. But Daniela just played a very beautiful music that says that we can work it out. Look, whatever it is, it can be worked out. It can be worked out. The only time that I believe things cannot be worked out is if it's between two people, then you're unwilling to make it work out, or you're dead. But for as long as we have life and we have a little bit of will and strength in us to make it work, we can always find ways around it and work it out. So it could be that your life is on a downward trend, it can be worked out. It could be that your finances are bad, it can be worked out. It could be that your academics are not good, it can be worked out. It could be your relationship or your marriage. Once you have the will and you're not dead, it can be worked out. So what we need here is that strong willpower that we can latch on to work out the things that are really not working out in our lives. It can be worked out. Great, Doc, I'll start with you. I want to find out, I do understand that the guidance and counseling units in our schools are really very, very, very important, very critical. And you have been extremely passionate about it. I wish that I had videos of you that day when you were delivering the report. Tell me, in as much as you are passionate about it and you think that the schools should have it, you have very strong concerns as well. Can we start from your concerns?
All right, thank you, and good morning to your listeners and viewers again, and good morning to the other panelists. When you start an educational system, one of the things that you have to be very particular about is the holistic development of the child. So if you look at all educational policies, not even only in Ghana, in all jurisdictions, the focus is not only on the cognitive development of the child. There is also a focus on the affective domain and also the psychomotor. So you have to put in place support systems within the educational space to ensure that the child's development is holistic. And one of the things that you need to be very conscious about is the establishment of a guidance and counseling unit. So even in the university, you see we have the academic counselors, and you go to the hall, we have the hall counselors. So even at that level, we believe that there are times that the students or the learner would need certain kind of assistance, and the learner would have to talk to a professional. But in our educational system, even from at the junior high school level, we don't have career guidance. So you see students selecting programs that sometimes they feel that they can do, parents feel that this is where they are good at, and then sometimes teachers feel that that is what they can do. So they just select the programs and then they enter senior high school. The same thing happens on SHS campuses, where things that border on the development of the child are not given the needed attention, like his or her academic work. And even with academic work, mostly it's the teachers that pay attention to. So the ability of educational system to ensure that the child grows through the process of education by establishing these guidance and counseling units, I've not been well dealt with in our space, and as you said, I say this with all the passion that I have, because I have worked in most secondary schools in Ghana, and I've seen firsthand the challenges of this kind of guidance and counseling unit that they are supposed to establish. One, they do not have a functional guidance and counseling unit, and anybody would want to challenge me should give me proof. Except one or two of the first class schools or category A schools, like the Wesley Girls and other schools, that the school itself tries to put in place a certain mechanism that seeks to help the students in times of need. Apart from that, we do not have a functional guidance and counseling unit. And what that technically means is that teachers who have gone through the education process and have done one semester course on guidance and counseling doubles as guidance and counseling coordinator. So you see a teacher who is supposed to be teaching, let's say, mathematics or English or science. He or she is at the same time the guidance and counseling coordinator. Sometimes it is a school chaplain who doubles as a guidance and counseling coordinator. But mind you, some of these chaplains are also teachers in the schools. So the chaplain is teaching CRS or religious studies. He is the chaplain of the school. Sometimes he is also a pastor in one of the churches around, and then he doubles as a counselor in the school. So the workload on him alone, and you're talking about schools that have over 1,000 students, the workload on him alone is enormous, and it renders him ineffective, even if he or she wants to be effective. So you don't have this thing functioning in the schools. The students do not have anybody that they can walk to who is a professional trained to listen. You know, counselors are trained in such a way that they listen to you, they try to understand you, put themselves in your shoes, and then help you walk through the process of whether it is recovery, whether it's helping you to appreciate something or whatever it is. That is what counselors are trained to do. But because most of these people who handle the guidance and counseling affairs on our campuses are not trained in that way, mostly they tend to use, and nobody should get me wrong, they tend to use religiosity to counsel students, which to me, it's not professional. What do I mean by religiosity? So the child walks to you and tells you that I've been having wet dreams, or maybe I have there's this guy in the class that I feel something towards, and I would want to, when I see him, I feel like having an affair with him or her, and so on and so forth. And the first reaction to such a comment would be, you are being a bad girl, you are being a bad boy. Because the person is not professionally trained, the girl will then now coil in, she will go back into a shelf and will not open up to this person again. And that is what we are doing to our students in the various secondary schools, because the counselors are not professionally trained. They do not have the skills of counseling. It makes it difficult for them to carry on with activities that a counselor is supposed to do for our students. The support system is not there, and because of that, these girls and these boys hardly get somebody to direct them, because the house is in a mess, in quotes. The school, she's having challenges, and the one person that may be professionally trained who would be able to assist him or her is also not available to do that. At the end of the day, they get into troubles, they get into problems, and it becomes difficult for them to recover, and it in turn affects their academic work and other aspects of their life.
Great. So, Doc, I mean, from what you're saying, it isn't like there are no guidance and counseling units in the schools. Quite a number of schools have it, but they are not very functional, because the people who are the coordinators who are manning these units are not very well trained for the job. Some are teachers who are already saddled with a lot of work, and you're putting them there. Some are, chaplains in the school, and they also double as teachers, and you're putting them there. You're looking at the number of students who are in the school who may have issues from time to time. And this teacher who probably, one, is not very well trained as, a shrink or somebody who is able to handle teens when it comes to their behavioral issues and their experiences and all that, is asked to do the job. So we are saying that they may be there, but they are not very functional. Am I right?
Exactly, and
Right.
that can be confirmed by anybody who's in the education system, and
Great.
it's unfortunate because if you go to other schools, you will see. I mean, you go to other jurisdictions, you see that there is a functional office with a professional there that attends to the needs. I mean, the psychological needs or psychosocial needs of the student 24/7. We don't have that thing working very well in our educational system in Ghana.
Beautiful. Dr. Peter Pate Anti, he is Executive Director, Institute for Education Studies, IFEST. And he's been on the show for the past 3 weeks because of his passion. And I just love this drive. Last week I said that we need just about, 20, 30, 40, if we are blessed, 50 of the kind of passion he has and the drive he has, and we will make all the change we need to make when it comes to all the issues that our children face when we say bye-bye to them and they go to school. Irene, before I come to you, let me come to you, Juliana. Reason we are having this conversation, her drive and her passion to get into this area and for us to have some data to work with. Juliana, so when you went around the schools and spoke to some of these young girls, and I remember, the conversation we wanted to have this week was they saying that talk to the boys, talk to the teachers, talk to our uncles, talk to all of these people. Quite apart from that, and we're looking now at the guidance and counseling, units in the school. What sort of sense did you get, practically, because you were on the grounds and you also admit that you, Juliana, and your team, the GEM team, cannot be everywhere, every day, every time. You guys are working and you will have to make time to do this. Funds are not there and all that. Passion is what is driving you. But these girls, these boys are in school 247 for as long as the academic, the term.
For the opportunity once again, Edem. And hi to lovely listeners. On the field, what we feel is inadequacy and a skill gap, and what I would describe as sometimes putting a square peg in a round hole in some of the schools. And with the findings that are related to school-related gender-based violence, financial difficulties, personality development factors such as the lack of self-worth, stereotypical fears around STEM subjects, lack of clarity on career path choices, sexual abuse and related medical and mental health factors, family influence and the desire or the lack of it. All these are the summary of the findings of the report. Now, all these are related to counseling in one way or the other. If the child is supposed to be dealing with a couple of these things at the same time, one or two or even 5 of these things at the same time, and still expected to ace their academic goals, then we expect there should be a stopgap, a support system within the school that helps these learners in school to be able to deal with these issues and achieve their academic goals concurrently. What we find on the ground is that some of the schools that actually have these counselors and guidance and counselors in place are overwhelmed. I'm talking about overwhelmed in the sense that you have a school population of over 2,000 learners, and then you have only one guidance and counseling coordinator. Such a person becomes overwhelmed because such a person alone cannot handle all the issues these students are dealing with. And in some of the schools too, we notice that you would have a male teacher who is designated as the guidance and counseling coordinator. Maybe that person has expertise only in guiding children towards selecting the right courses that align with their personality traits that will lead to them choosing the right career path. But because there are no other designated teachers to handle the psychosocial aspect of the needs or in the therapeutic needs of these students, that same teacher doubles as a counselor for all aspects of what the child is going through. And let's not forget that these learners are at their developmental stages. Their body is constantly changing. Their systems are changing. They are getting to know a bit of themselves that they haven't experienced before. And all that comes with some mental and psychological issues that they need guidance on. Then you have this teacher who is only trained on selecting the best course that matches your personality trait, and he or she is supposed to guide that learner on understanding why her body is changing and all that. So those are some of the difficulties we encountered on the field. Also, we met some schools where you have a male teacher designated as a guidance and counseling coordinator, and the school is dominated by maybe females. And we keep wondering, how is this particular teacher trained in gender aspects so that he or she is he is so professional in a way to handle issues that a girl is going through. For instance, a girl comes to school to tell you, I have been forced to sleep with my brother and I have a sore or wound, I don't know how to put it, the appropriate word to use for it, down there in my vagina. Is this teacher, who is a male, able, trained, professional enough to handle such a heavy and sensitive and delicate information and guide this girl to healing without? And then in some of the schools too, we have a female. Only that female is handling all the issues across board of the population of the learners they have in that school. Is that female teacher capable professionally with all the technicalities and nuances involved in counseling these issues, handle these learners' complex situations that you haven't been a female before, and you are a male counselor in a school. This girl's first menses and she's telling you about it. How are you, that male teacher, trained enough to handle it? So these are the gaps we discovered along the journey. We also met some of the schools that have coordinators that are super passionate about these things. And even though there might not be a specific training program for them, they themselves have done self-development projects and they are solid on the ground. And they are the reason we are asking for a similar system, but then coordinated by GES across all the schools. Because when these kids are in school and they have these issues, in our GES system, I think it is still prohibited to have phones in schools. And so then if the girl can't call home immediately, there's an issue, there should be that go-to person that has the right attitude, that creates the right environment, that is not judgmental, for the girl to go or the boy to go and open up. Sometimes you meet this when we are planning outreach. We meet this, we plan with some of these coordinators, and they are utterances about the students they are there to champion, the student whose interest they are there to champion will break your heart. Then we ignore them because we don't judge. Then after the event, they come to you and they are like, how did you control? And we are like, we didn't come to control, we came to engage. Do we have counselors that engage our learners when they have issues? That is what we are asking from GES. Please put learners, put counselors, and train them to create the right environment for our learners to come and open up.
Ooh. in the school, the guidance and the guidance and counseling coordinators in the school, immediate access to their parents. You are there as their parents, you are there as their guardians. And so we need to make sure that those who have been mandated to play these roles are well trained and have the capacity, the ability, and whatever it takes for them to play these roles well in order not to complicate the lives of these young ones. Doc's been telling us about his passion and his concerns. Juliana laid out some of the gaps, and then Irene assured us that, yes, Edem, some years ago, it wasn't this good. We're still not where we ought to be, but things are improving gradually. And that gives us some area of hope. Do we have Safam on the line now? Has Safam joined us?
Yes,
Okay,
Edem.
great. Safam, how are you?
I'm good. Good morning, Edem. And good morning to everyone.
Great. Safam is also a teacher and also very, very, very passionate about this. And listening, she says, look, Edem, I agree with Irene that things are not that terrible anymore in as much as we haven't reached where we want to be. And she has some contributions to make. Safam, please go on.
Yeah, so to Doc, yes, it is true. The guidance and counseling coordinating units in most of our schools are not functioning. I remember 2013, I did a cursory observation with Adenta Educational Municipality. But before I engaged in that activity, I visited the regional office and had a discussion with the guidance and counseling director. I remember very well as I stepped into his office, I could picture there was this table and a chair in that office space. No files, no computer, nothing on the decks. So I said, oh, I'm just interested in whatever you do here. I just want us to have a discussion. Then he was...
We're losing you, Safam. Safam, can you hear me?
Was like, my sister, you can see this is so... whatever you think you can about education and sports. Then I said, okay. But then I had an opportunity of engaging
with... Can you hear me?
Yes.
We lost a good part of what you were saying.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Please, I don't know which part that I went off.
You went on from when you... I mean, that's the last I heard. You said you went to somebody's office and there was no computer. There were just
okay. At the regional office, there was nothing. Yes. And he explained how limited they were in terms of resources to even move around. So he was interested in why I was so passionate about this. And then I said, oh, I'm trying to put a document together in the sense that we had reports about most of our learners, young learners traveling abroad, and they were doing extremely well. And some of them even came up as gifted and talented students. However, I noticed that in our system in Ghana here, it was one jacket fit all. We didn't have the educational system supporting these learners. So I wanted to put up a facilitation of something across. And then so I met one, Mr. Prophet. He was then in the placement unit of Legon. So we did a document to go and see then the education minister. It was Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman. We're not able to do that. I still have the document on my system that I'm speaking to you now. And so from all these things, then I went to Adenta. I accompanied the guidance and counseling coordinator of the district to do her rounds. I remember very well, we went to one cluster of schools in Adenta. What she did was gather over 200 students on a compound and she gave them a general talk. It was getting to BECE. So take care of yourself. Don't get pregnant. Otherwise, you'll not be able to write the exams. And that was it. As to a feedback or a relay where the learners can even get access to somebody to talk to, there was nothing like that. So you notice that at the basic level, the guidance and counseling units were not working, not because they didn't have the systems. But now, as I indicated, things are changing. Where I teach, there's a guidance and counseling, not just a coordinator, but a counselor in the school. So she comes around and form a team with teachers that are passionate like myself. I'm also a coordinator. So we sit down, put activities together. And as and when you need a resource person or some of the teachers that are endowed in that field, then they engage in lectures, seminars. We have a girls' guide, decks, where some teachers are really involved in taking care of these things. So yes, things are changing, but then we still need, that coordinated effort, that resources, the resources they need from the national for them to be able to carry on their work. When I was in school in Holy Child, that was in 1998, 1996 to 1998, we had a guidance and counseling unit at that time. And she had a small office that you can walk in to talk to her or to have issues, because that is a category A school. But I'm talking about other categories where they are lacking all these resources. But yes, things are changing, but we can do better. I like the fact that when Doc indicated that education is not just for the cognitive development, the psychomotor and then the value-laden resources or aspects of the child needs to be developed alongside the child coming up with the brain. So, and these things can be carried out by the guidance and counseling units. Teachers, for that matter, Edem, are default counselors. So when you're going through your teacher training courses, the psychology, the philosophy, and all these courses that you are taking, you are being informed that, hey, there are certain things you detect in the classroom as a teacher. So when you detect those things, then you intervene by directing the student to the counselor. So if a school does not have all these things in place, then the teacher is shortchanged, or the teacher is limited as to how far he or she can go. So please, this call is very, very important. And thank you, Juliana, for the awesome work that you are doing. I know that come another 5 years or 10 years, this story will be differently awesome. Thank you.
The fire and the passion around the room, right? Something must definitely shift in favor of our children. And this passion is not because anybody wants to take any glory, or not because Edem wants to say that, yeah, I had conversations on radio about it, or Safam or Juliana wanted to take glory for the fact that I am the one who did this. All we want to see are changes that will definitely support our children to be able to live, to learn, and to lead. That is why we are all suffering like this. Great. We'll continue in a bit, but let me remind you that good food brings good memories, and that is why taste matters. And Onga is the taste master. As taste masters, we give every meal that superior taste. Our wide range of Onga flavors assures you of a superior taste and irresistible aroma. Why don't you get your Onga powders, the stew, the 3-mix, which is a combination of ginger, onions, and garlic, and our classic and chicken. Oh yes, and for the Onga tablets, we have the shrimp, the chicken, the beef, and the stew. We have a flavor for every meal. This is just what you need for an Ongalicious meal. And by the way, Ongalicious is the new delicious. Onga, Mama's helping hand, Hilili, and Pentecost Hour, a religious broadcast program sponsored by the Church of Pentecost, comes your way with the chairman of the Church of Pentecost, Apostle Eric Nyamiche, on Joy 99.7 FM every Monday at 9:30 p.m. But from October, the time and the date will change. We will keep you updated. Tune in and as Apostle, tune in every Monday for now at 9:30 p.m. as Apostle Nyamiche brings you life transforming truth that nourishes the soul, ignites your passion, and restores hope in the nations. The Church of Pentecost, we are possessing the nations for the Lord. Now, I will come back to tell you more about, about our sponsors. But let me come back to us on the call. Doc, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, great, Doc.
I'm
you
on
have
the road, so the network will be going on and off.
Oh, okay. So let me engage you this last time, and then we'll let you go.
All right.
So I want to find out. I mean, does it give you any hope that the teachers in the school are saying that yes, we understand that some 5, 8, 10 years ago things weren't good at all, but things are getting better, and there's some area of hope when it comes to creating that safe environment, especially so in terms of guidance and counseling for our children in the school. Does it give you any hope? Oh, Doc, this your laughter is so not hopeful.
You see, it's nice that Madam Irene and Madam Sefam is indicating that in their school they can attest to some level of improvement. But the work that I do, I go beyond Accra. I deal with a lot of schools across the country, and I must say that unfortunately it's not a reflection of what happens across most of our schools. And as I indicated earlier on, it is true that in most category A schools, the school structure and the school system is able to create some of these things. But this technically is not the duty of the school. It is the duty of the educational system. So it starts from the GES headquarters, gets to the regional, gets to the district, where the various units within the district are well resourced. Then it can trickle down to individual schools within the district. And when you have a vibrant guidance and counseling coordinator at the district level, he is able to initiate change. That is what is missing. It's according to the American School Counselors Association. We don't have that. And I don't do is to now get at least our schools. Then, as Madam Irene said, that counselor now tries to form or try to rope in other teachers and train them, because the teacher technically has the first contact with the student. So it's the duty of the teacher to identify some of these things for the teacher to now recommend the student to the professional counselor. That is how it works. So when you don't have that professional person in the school whose work is to just counsel the student 24/7, he is not a teacher, she's not a teacher. All that she's supposed to do is to have an office, a small one there, and a desk with files of students, different reports, and the person is supposed to have, because he's trained, they have different kinds of tools that they use to check the psychology and everything of the students. So when the student comes, he has a questionnaire for the student feels and knows that, oh, this student, this is the problem that he's going through. And then the person can now walk the student through. He checks on the student after the meeting, and then that's a lot of follow-up. That is what is supposed to be done ideally. I don't think that
Oh dear.
by our rich, I mean the well-to-do families, we don't have these things happening in most of our schools, and that is my concern. And I think that if we are able to start with getting vibrant guidance and counseling coordinators at the district level, they would be able to initiate this change. It shouldn't be at the school, because at the school, teachers get transferred. Things happen. Sometimes the teacher is overburdened, or no, he or she is also got a family that he's taking care of. There are other things that he or she does. But if you have somebody who is designated professionally to handle this, then the teachers can be bringing these kids to him or her, and then he or she can take his professional
Great.
activity, undertake his professional activity. I have to also say that yes, this gifted thing is very important, but I'm privy to information that now there are plans to develop something for gifted and talented kids. And I think by the next year or next 2 years, that curriculum will be in the system where these kids would be identified and put in an educational institution, and then their talents will be improved to help the country. But the point is that let's try to build this from the regional to the district level. If you get one district coordinator who is
Oh, we keep losing dog. He said so though. Okay. Looks like we have totally lost Doc, but I have two messages here that seem to be corroborating what Doc is saying. It says, Edem, I am Samuel Tete. I have been working with the counseling units for years now. The guidance and counseling units in most secondary schools is nothing to write home about because the system doesn't give enough recognition to the practitioners. I have worked closely with the counselors in two different high schools, senior high schools. The professional counselors I met are never given enough opportunity to deal with the issues. They are made to teach and perform other functions. Currently, we wanted to organize 4 guidance programs for the semester. We have been given only 2 slots of an hour each. The solution is to empower the units and make them visible. There's another one here that says, keep my name away for now. I can understand. I teach in a technical school in Tema, and the school's population is about 3,000. A technical school which is dominated by boys. About 95% are boys. And guess what? The counselor in the school is a female, and she is just one person for the whole school. So you can imagine the problem that she should be going through daily. The boys wouldn't be able to go to her for their issues. I rest my case now. Let me take a deep breath. Juliana, our time is almost up. Let me take your final words on this, and then I will take, and the final words should still be in, forms of recommendations, and I will come to Sefam and Irene as well, and we will wrap up. But to say that we may be wrapping up on the show today, but this is something that we are going to take up and follow because it's very, 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 very important.
Thank you so much, Edem. My closing remark would still be that at GEM, we appreciate the fact that Rennie has a shining light at her district. But like Doc has already said, it doesn't cut across from what we see on the ground in other places that we've been to. And our call is still the passionate call for more guidance and counseling professionals to be trained and sent to our schools. They are overwhelmed, so let's give them numbers. Let's beef up the numbers. Some of them need professional skills overhaul. Let's give them that. Some of them need tools, like somebody's message you read. They need the tools to use to give these girls and these learners, the boys and the girls, the guidance we want from them. So our call is still the same. Please train more and send more to these schools. And then send more gender sensitive ones to these schools because some of them don't understand the issues. They become more judgmental and they even create more problems because they don't understand the issues. So please train more, send more, equip them so they can deliver the sunlight that is in Rennie's district across Ghana. All we want is well-rounded children that will grow into capable, responsible adults to live, learn, and lead. Thank you so much for having us again.
Someone sent me a message and says that when I was in school, we had a counselor who would use people's issues to tell stories in class and uses them to teach. So once you start and the child knows that this is my story you are telling, you think somebody will come to you again tomorrow. This is very, very, very pathetic. Irene.
Hello.
Yes, Irene. Are you
Okay.
still keeping hope alive?
Yes. Yes, I am 100%.
Oh God.
Okay. Yes. I'll go with Doc and then Auntie Juliana by
Mm.
saying that with the GES, when they are posting teachers to the school, it should be professionally trained teachers, because at the universities and the training colleges, we are being taught child psychology, adolescent psychology, and those stuff. Now, it is this same instrument you are going to use to guide the child. Again, if you are posted to a school and then you yourself, you know you are not that professionally trained, you can take up courses that will help you become a professional teacher. Number two is with the guidance and counseling coordinators in our school. And that's what doctor said. They have some periods they teach in class. And I think that takes them away from the students when they need them the 24/7. So if it can be done such that the counselors are trained to have more access to them. Then again, with our district coordinators, guidance and counseling coordinators, I think for she's doing very well, because that committee, I'm for sure school help, but she brings almost everybody on board to bring ideas as to how best to solve the problem. Okay, and I think she deserves a big shout out. Auntie Vic, thank you so much for helping Shai Osidopi district. Thank you.
Thank you, Irene. And before I come to you, Safam, once again, good food brings good memories, and that is why taste matters. And Onga is the taste master. As taste masters, we give every meal that superior taste. A wide range of Onga flavors assures you of a superior taste and irresistible aroma. Why don't you get your Onga powders? You can get the stew, the 3 mix, which is a combination of ginger, onion, and garlic. You can also get the classic and the chicken. And oh yes, for the tablets, you can get the shrimp, the chicken, the beef, and the stew. We have a flavor for every meal. And this is just what you need for an Ongalicious meal. And hey, by the way, Ongalicious is the new delicious. Onga, Mama's helping hand. Ilili. Safam, your final words.
Yes, thank you. So from where we are coming from 10 years ago to where we are now, it wouldn't be a mediocre behavior to celebrate where we are currently, because 10 years ago, it was really bad. Yes, there's more work for us to do, but what we are doing here now today, talking about this guidance and counseling and how they are supposed to be resourced, is a way to go. A way to go in the sense that when you talk about guidance and counseling or people assessing that facility, they think because you are crazy, that is why you need that guidance and counseling. No, it is more of support system. So for me, it's let's push it further and let's engage. Let's continue with the discussion till we get what we need to be able to perform as teachers, to be able to perform as parents, and to be able to perform as educationists. GES, the budget for girl child education, the budget for other directors or whatever, guidance and counseling directors should also be included in this budget, and their cuts should be given to them and used effectively for the purpose. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Safam. And I said it earlier that this is very, very, very critical, very important. And, you know, on Home Affairs, we have always said that. And that's what it is, actually. It's not just about Home Affairs, that the unit of society is the family. And these children leave their families and go to school. Once they are in school, the school becomes that home and family for them. And so we will keep talking about this. We will join in the work and ensure that, like Juliana has said, the children will come out well-rounded. They will be able to live freely. They will be able to learn in that very conducive environment, regardless of the challenges they may be facing, and be able to become the leaders that they aspire to be and the leaders we would like to see tomorrow. This call is for you and I. All of us will have to jump on it and make sure that these guidance and counseling units in our schools are functioning. Let's keep talking about it. Let's keep pushing it. and let's make sure that it happens. I'd like to say a very big thank you to all of you for joining us, Dr. Patianti, Juliana, Ama Clofia, Irene Akuapedo, and then Safam Lord Mensa. I'd like to say thank you to all of you, and to my production team, Daniela, you're a super girl. Thank you. God bless you so much. And to everybody else who worked in the background, we say thank you and God bless you. Thank you. And that's how we're ending Home Affairs. But don't go. Before you go quickly, I'd like to tell you that I'm starting a conversation with my friends. I call it Edem Knight-Tay and friends. We're going to be doing this once every month. The first one is going to happen on the 15th of October. It will be at Labadi Beach Hotel. And we're saying that the first one, the friends of mine who will be joining me are Dr. Sanyo Misrame. There'll be Dr. Paddy Ayete, and then Auntie Judith Mensa, Edith Mensa. We will be having a conversation generally on sexual health, and we'll be doing this at the Labadi Beach Hotel. Next week, I'll give you all the details. We have space for only 50 people, and so you might want to call in and register ASAP. Next week, I'll give you the contact, but you can also send an email to homeaffairs@myjoyonline.com and say that you want to be at the event so that we can prepare for you. We're going to be doing this once every month. It's going to be in person. We have conversations. You can ask all your questions, interactive one-on-one sessions. So homeaffairs@myjoyonline.com. You can send the message, say, I want to be part of Edem Knight-Tay and friends, and then we will send you an invitation. But for now, it's Saturday. Go get some grooming done, get relaxed, and make sure that you're rejuvenating and getting yourself ready for the work ahead next week. Enjoy the weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.